Hey, what's up guys, Will here for GSM Arena. The Poco X3 NFC is a mid-range phone that promises a bunch of trendy features, like a high refresh rate screen, stereo speakers, and quad cameras. Is it able to deliver? Let's find out in our full review. The Poco X3's metallic textured pattern and large Poco logo give it a unique look you won't mistake for another phone. Like many mid-rangers, its back is made from plastic, though it does have an aluminum frame. It's strange that Poco named this device after NFC though, as it boasts other, arguably more impressive features, like IP53 splash resistance, which is hard to find at this price, or a high refresh rate screen. The display is a 6.67-inch IPS LCD with a 1080p resolution, and it brings a super fast 120Hz refresh rate. This means that UI elements and supported apps will appear much smoother to the eye, like when you're scrolling. However, the implementation here isn't perfect. The pixel response time doesn't seem to be as fast as the refresh rate, so you'll notice some ghosting if you look closely. This doesn't take away from the smoothness though. Besides the refresh rate, there's a super fast 240Hz touch sampling rate too. This means the display is super responsive to your touch, which is great for gaming. Blacks are deep, and contrast is very good too. You can set colors to be pretty accurate in settings, and brightness is good, with a maximum of 460 nits with the slider, and a boost up to 630 nits in auto mode when in bright sun. Plus it's all protected by a layer of Gorilla Glass 5. For your audio, the Poco X3 NFC has a hybrid stereo speaker setup, with one bottom-firing speaker, and the earpiece acting as the second one. It's pretty loud, scoring very good in our loudness test. Quality is decent here too, but mid-tones are a bit lacking. There is a 3.5mm jack on the Poco X3 as well, great for plugging in traditional headphones. There's support for FM radio too. And you get a white status LED behind the speaker grill. It'll let you know if you have a missed call or a message to read. You can wake up and unlock the Poco X3 NFC with a fingerprint sensor located on the side, which doubles as the power button. It's super responsive. And storage is expandable on this device, on top of the 64 or 128 gigs built in. The Poco X3's interface is Xiaomi's new MIUI 12 based on Android 10. It's quite clean and snappy. Your apps are stored in an app drawer by default, and it automatically organizes them into categories. Something unique to the Poco is that you don't get the option to disable the drawer and keep your apps on the home screen like you can on Xiaomi phones. One special feature in MIUI 12 is that the notification shade can be split into two parts, a notifications panel and a control panel. You also have the ability to put an app into a floating window, where it can hover above everything else. Great for multitasking. And as before, MIUI 12 packs proprietary apps for the gallery, music, and video player. And in some regions, the music and video apps include paid streaming options. Speaking of things that may vary from region to region, we've heard reports of ads baked into the user interface in some markets, but on our unit we didn't run into any ads whatsoever. Now let's talk performance. The Poco X3 NFC runs on a Snapdragon 732G. It's a new chip that offers some of the best performance in the 4G mid-range segment. CPU-wise, it's only bested by the higher-end Snapdragon 765s, and in graphics tests it's able to outperform most of the mid-rangers we've tested so far. Games run great, and I didn't run into any hiccups with other tasks either. Plus, we didn't have any problems with overheating, thanks to a vapor chamber plus 2 graphite layers. These should help dissipate the heat and prevent hotspots. The Poco X3 NFC is powered by a large 5160 mAh battery, and as you'd expect, battery life is great. The phone was able to score an outstanding endurance rating of 125 hours in our proprietary tests. Though the battery is large, you can top it up pretty fast with the 33-watt charger that comes in the box. With it, we were able to charge the phone from 0 to 55% in half an hour. Let's move on to the cameras. The Poco X3 NFC packs a quad camera setup, with a 64-megapixel main cam, a 13-megapixel ultra-wide-angle cam, a 2-megapixel macro cam, and a depth sensor. Just a note that we had a lens issue on our review unit, which caused a blurred area in the bottom left of the camera samples. but we look past that for our camera analysis. Photos from the main camera come out in 16 megapixels, and they're excellent for this class. There's enough detail, great contrast, lively colors, and wide dynamic range. There is some over-sharpening and purple fringing around the corners, but at this price, we like these results. You can take photos in the native 64 megapixel resolution too, and these images are okay, though you don't get much extra detail by shooting this way. Portraits are taken with the main cam and the depth sensor, and these turn out good, with nice detail, proficient subject separation, and natural-looking backgrounds. Since there's no telephoto camera on this device, zoomed shots are a digital crop from the main camera. At 2x, these are usable, but lack detail because they're upscaled to 16 megapixels after cropping. 13 megapixel photos taken with the ultra-wide camera are very good. They're quite detailed. The colors are nice, and there is reasonably wide dynamic range. The lens distortion correction does an alright job too. Close-up shots taken with the macro cam are okay. The detail level is about what you'd expect from 2 megapixels, but there's low noise. The fixed focus makes getting a sharp photo a bit of a hassle though. Now on to low-light shooting. Here the quality is okay, but we've seen better from other mid-rangers. Shots from the main camera have enough detail, but sharpness and dynamic range aren't great, and the noise reduction smears away the finer details. If you turn on the night mode, you get a better result. The exposure is brighter, and highlights are restored. Shots taken with the ultra-wide at night are very dark, and are poor in detail, and this camera doesn't support night mode. Moving on to selfies. The Poco X3 NFC has a 20 megapixel front-facing camera, and its photos are good. There's enough detail, nice colors, and excellent contrast. Focus is fixed, but we didn't find it difficult to take a sharp photo. The Poco X3 NFC takes videos with its main and ultra-wide cameras in up to 4K at 30 FPS. Footage from the main cam has accurate colors, great contrast, and wide enough dynamic range. The level of detail is just average, but we still like the result. Videos from the ultra-wide are pretty good for the class. The detail level is just okay, and dynamic range is limited, but you get accurate colors and good contrast. Electronic stabilization is available for both cameras, in all resolutions, and it does a good job in smoothing things out. So that's the Poco X3 NFC. You get a large and responsive high refresh rate screen, splash proofing, a great mid-range chipset, awesome battery life, pretty fast charging, and a versatile set of cameras. Poco was actually able to deliver on pretty much every promise, and it's a pleasant surprise at this price point. Our only nitpicks would be the ghosting on the screen when scrolling in 120Hz, and the camera quality in low light. And while having stereo speakers is commendable, they could have been tuned better. But these things are all pretty easy to forgive when you consider how much value you're getting here. The Poco X3 NFC is a great mid-range phone that's definitely worth recommending to anyone looking for a ton of bang for their buck. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.